You're listening to 17 Carat K-Pop. For more information about the variety of topics covered on the show, as well as my other podcast, How to Stan, visit 17caratkpop.weebly.com. And if you enjoy this episode, please consider becoming a monthly donor to support my work and allow it to continue to go on and be free for all to access for as low as 99 cents a month. Visit the Support the Show link on my site's homepage for more information. Hello everybody and welcome back to 17 Carat K-Pop. A lot of news to get to in a day or two on the show, but first I just wanted to share a really quick update to my MONSTA X music video universe breakdown, theories, character guide, etc., given their brand new album, One of a Kind, which is a very apt title indeed. So here is the latest. For the full, detailed rundown of MONSTA X's music video characters, symbols, themes, and plot so far, check out the MONSTA X Guide episode of the show. If you don't want to scroll down months ago, you could also find that episode if you go to 17caratkpop.weebly.com, click on the episodes tab, click sort by artist, and you will see all the artist-specific episodes. And you can scroll down alphabetically to find the MONSTA X Guide episode. But I will give a little bit of a refresher here about some, once again, relevant details. In that guide to MONSTA X, I talked about Hyunwon as the main evil character in this music video universe. But now I think the focus needs to be on what Juhani's character is up to. They each represent a seventh sin, and Juhani's is greed. His character was in a car accident at some point, a detail we'll go back to later. He's the one who, in the video that really kicked this storyline into high gear all in, was confronting the soldiers, taunting them, and he handed that big black bag of what they stole over to Shonu in the alley. Fast forward to the jealousy video, and he looked like he was ready to face off with IM as motorcycles circled them. He's literally like a zombie, as he sings about walking like zombie in the video for Shootout, where he has these broken handcuffs, he's unshackled, unleashed, and even seems to have the ability to levitate small rocks and pebbles. He is most often in these videos the sole character to try to cover up his face, to be unrecognizable, probably because he's up to some illegal stuff, and people are onto that. And he finds this box of keys, takes the box, and runs to hide from security. He's once again hiding from security and running away with keys in the Beast Mode video. In Love Killa, much like the Joker in The Dark Knight, he robs a bank and then ends the video riding off in a car, leaning out the passenger window in a cocky way, looking very Joker-esque with his grinning, as he and IM get away with yet another heist. So they went from basically confronting each other to being partners in crime. IM's character so far is embodying a related seventh sin, envy. His character was already literally in the driver's seat and planning something in jealousy, where he's writing a note down, then trying to make a phone call, figuring out what to do, and then ends up confronting Juhani. In the Shootout video, he is in an office setting, analyzing all of these cards spread out before him, with the seven sins listed on them. He continues to try to be studying and figuring out what all this means and what to do in living it up. In his character's role in the short films, he's sitting at the bar, he freezes time with their special time travel watch, he grabs a newspaper from someone frozen in time to read the headlines, figure out what's going on, and then realizes he wants to call an emergency meeting. So he calls Ki-hyun, and he meets up with Hyunwon, and eventually they meet with Min-hyuk and decide, you get the keys now. In Follow, he's surrounded by snakes, and his eyes glow like he's not fully human, and he's got some sort of evil in him. Then he carried out that heist mission with Juhani in Love Killa. The other main character whose actions appear newly relevant to the story is Ki-hyun, whose seventh sin is lust. In Fighter, he was the member dragging the black bags at one point, trying to hide the evidence that Juhani passed along to him, but someone seems to get him, takes him somewhere, later on he's seen limping. He's blindfolded by Hyunwon in Shine Forever, so he's the character who's being led astray and scapegoated time and time again. In Dramarama, he was further tasked with damage control, because Hyunwon had the magical watch at that time, and he had to go to Hyunwon to beg him to turn back time to before Juhani got into the crash. And that moment is extra important to remember, notably because it was resurfaced as a flashback in the Find You video. Things start happening in reverse again during his solo Fantasia era teaser video, so we know his character has to be linked to time travel and damage control. He never gets the keys, but in the Beast Mode video he does stare at a framed set of gold keys, framed as if we're now in the future, and he's looking at a relic of their misadventures. Ki-hyun continues being the character who gets the ultimate short end of the stick. He's left in handcuffs and in a cage in Love Killa as the other members take off. So pay close attention to what those three characters do in this new video. Juhani leads the auction, and he taunts whoever is tied up in the corner. Kind of like he taunted the soldiers earlier. I repeat, his sin he's embodying is greed, not letting anyone get off with any prize of any kind. In Gambler, Ki-hyun's character gets into a physical fight with Minhyuk. And remember, Minhyuk was the one in that earlier video's meeting that I.M and Hyunwon decided to pass the keys on to next. So Ki-hyun never got the keys, Minhyuk got them. So now he's up in his face, probably jealous about it. Then you have I.M. And in the new video, he's back to an office setting. He's the character that's always kind of behind the scenes, the brains of the evil operations, and he continues to seem that way. This time he's playing around with wires and circuits and figuring out how to set up this bomb they have. So here are some key details to keep in mind, aside from who these characters are and what characters have taken on newly prominent roles in the plot. The two main plot lines we continue to see are the ongoing heist, running away from security, and committing more crimes in the process of trying to run away, and time travel associated with the day of the car crash. And both narratives have their inner sin coming into play and affecting what those characters think and do. We also have through lines through symbols like the 7 sins represented on their pack of playing cards. The bar setting keeps showing up as well, and is back in the new video as a key setting. Remember, that's the location where they turn back time after reading the paper. Some other key details to note in the Gambler video we haven't talked about yet. It starts out with the taunting the person who's tied up. We never see the true identity of. Maybe it's one of the members, and it's just their good self being tied up by an evil alter ego. Hyunwon is in the bar, sees the man reading the paper. Shonu is walking around with security and holding a suitcase, maybe with whatever the black bags from the start of the story were holding. They're still passing among each other. The members have this fancy banquet they go to in this fancy mansion of sorts. They have the auction there as maybe a distraction while I.M make sure the bomb is set up, because then the timer goes off and it triggers a blackout. Post-blackout, all of the banquet attendees are seen, maybe dead, maybe just unconscious, but they're lying on the ground, and Shonu and Hyunwon drive off in a SWAT team car. And remember, Shonu has the suitcase, and Hyunwon had the time travel watch. So they got away with a lot of the core sources of evidence people could have used against this heist. On a lighter note, there are lots of fun Easter eggs in this video for longtime fans. Like how the auction number one of the banquet attendees held up was MONSTA X's debut date, and similarly, the newspaper a man is reading in Gambler has a headline about the diamond being auctioned off titled MX0514. MONSTA X May 14th, their debut date. Hidden on that paper as well are the words Clan Origins Trespass. Remember, Trespass was their debut, and the Clan series of albums is what the all-in video that kicked off this whole saga is from. So that era is fittingly nodded back to. Two more fun details I want to point out. One is that when I.M sings Hot as F, the subtitles say Hot as F, but they put the degrees Fahrenheit symbol. So it's like literally hot as F. I just thought that was a really funny detail. The other thing I appreciated was a little shout out to James Bond in the video, where Juhani is rapping about a Vesper Martini, which is the famous drink James Bond orders in both the book and the movie Casino Royale. So what to expect from future MONSTA X releases? More movie references like the Joker and James Bond, more quirky Easter eggs, often number related, more role switches about who is the main villain to focus on. Although I do think Juhani will stay a main focus of these videos for a while, especially because of his hiatus from the group. We want more screen time for him right now. We missed him. I think he'll be the starring character like Hyunwon was, but now Juhani is king in this story. He's the mastermind behind a lot of what's happening. So I think the ongoing plots will continue, the time travel discussion as well as the heist, with no conclusion in sight. But I think their lesson they're learning is, as much as they can turn back time, they can't really turn back. There's no turning back when it comes to who they were and who they've become, because they really are no longer the misfit, underdog, timid characters they were during the all-in music video days, when this whole journey began. In some ways, they're still the same. Juhani, largely still the same. But other characters have chosen to take a back seat or, in Ki-hyun's case, put up a fight, literally, and not take it anymore, being blindfolded and hidden away from the others and take the bulk of the consequences. So they're really stepping into their own, sometimes for worse, not for better, because of the sins that they have that are key to their story. Just some things to think about. I will keep you posted whenever there's a story update with a video to go with it. But another great solid comeback from them with another great cinematic chapter in their story. That wraps up my MONSTA X storyline update. Again, check out my other MONSTA X episode if you want the full, super in-depth rundown. Lots of news to get to tomorrow on the show, so stay tuned. Thank you for listening as always, and I will talk to you all again very soon.